in worship arts, for us, the center of everything, in fact, the center of the whole Christian life, is God's love. Now, it's important that it's, for us, that it's God's love that is the way that we, the way even that we love people isn't just from ourselves. It's from God's love to people.
Well, actually, the funny thing about worship arts is like we do a lot of stuff on stage, but we have a big like evangelism focus too. And that, kind of gets played down because it's not the thing that people see every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But our heart is actually just for people to know Jesus, like on a personal level.
I feel like I've sometimes get more attention like this semester versus last semester. And so I try to not use it as like being more popular or to make myself feel better or look better in other people's eyes. I try to use it as an opportunity to like build relationships and to be a mirror for Jesus so other people can see Jesus.
I don't want to just be worshipful when I'm on a stage or in front of people. I think worship is something we live in constantly, that we're constantly in communion with the Father. So as I'm talking with friends, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm still like before God and I'm still able to like enter the throne room like through like just like thinking about it, but like I am like that close to the Father at all times. So I want to like walk in worship, and like through that I like want to represent Him well, like to other people, and it just kind of like happens in that way.
So love is at the center, but the other core values that specifically that are really important to us, probably the highest one is humility. Humility is the vehicle that love runs on. And it's what allows God's love to flow freely through us and makes us usable. And by humility, what I mean is recognizing the reality that if something good happens, it's because the Holy Spirit did it.
The glory always goes to Jesus because I'm so amazed by the fact that He changes hearts in 20 minutes of music, and it's absolutely incredible. So I just don't even second guess the fact that this is God's work and not my own.
I try to keep in mind that I'm a mirror, like that the people see me, but I want them to ultimately see Jesus. I don't want them to look at me and see, oh, he's a good guitar player, or oh, the band's good, or something like that. I want them to look at me and see, like, not that I'm playing music, that I'm worshiping. So my goal is to be focused on Jesus, and if they're focused on me, then that'll make them be focused on Jesus.
I am so surprised at the community that's developed within the worship arts program. I would have hoped for it, but I don't know that I would have suspected it. And to see the way that the students love each other, the way that they enjoy being together, the way they pray together, the way they pray for each other.
I guess it's kind of trickled down from John being the head of the department, but we do really well at living in community. So like being authentic with each other and like John especially is really good about resolving conflict. I wouldn't know how to like resolve tension or anything without having been in the worship arts community and having learned from John and from other people who have learned from John.
I think just as a lot of people have gotten to know us as our major's grown, that just as individuals we have like a lot of respect for the things that we stand for and what we're going for, not just being music, but actually to like serve people and love people well as we love Jesus.
For me, I don't know that there's anything that gives me more fulfillment than seeing the transformation of my students over their years here at Asbury.
In high school, like I wasn't very like together, and so I was not super thrilled with life. I was depressed all the time, and I came here to visit and met these people, and they like the way they talked about Jesus was just fascinating. Like it was so different than anything I'd ever heard. It was like they actually knew him, like he was just a guy. He was in the room. John honestly became like a dad to me. If you know him, you like can't be in the room with him without feeling cared about. He's just such a kind and like gentle person that he leaves you open to just be you. And he's so supportive and so like encouraging. And so I've just, gotten to be me and learn to be me. And John's been like encouraging, along the way. And so I literally could write a book about how much John did for me, but I probably wouldn't have made it without him.
One of our main goals in worship arts is to train leadership. And so one of the primary ways that I do that is by letting the students lead.
We go through a long selection process of songs and planning for every chapel, so that we're not just internally accountable and doing things that we think are good, but we're doing things that are good for the whole campus community and like things that are going to reach the most people and make what we have in Jesus the most available to everybody.
How do I help the leaders become not just competent leaders, but leaders that inspire, that vision, that create community within the band? If I see my students leading worship in a way where it's engaging people and they're engaging Jesus because of it, or they're leading in such a way that it's obvious that the Holy Spirit is speaking and singing through them, what that does for me is it causes humility in me, like, oh my, you used me to help that happen.
We spend all this time rehearsing, and then we finally get to the point of chapel where today is the day, today is the specific time that we have set apart where people get to see Jesus in a different way, different than the people around them in music right now in this setting, and he's using me. So it's a very humbling thing, standing in front of them and just seeing their response to how much the music affects them and how much a time of worship like this is important.
I have a couple hopes for my students. One is that they themselves become more and more intimate with Jesus. That's the goal of life. And the second goal would be for my students to learn how to use the arts for other people, so that other people that don't know Jesus can come to him, and people that do know him can come closer to him. And so if my students get that, then I will feel like we've really accomplished what we've set out to do.